Hi, welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, May 30th. I'm Giovanni Benacourt, analyst, trader, and educator with Vantage Markets. Well, we had a nice long weekend. Memorial Day was yesterday, so we didn't have that much of a fluctuation in the futures market. Um, Obviously, we trade CFDs, but we do obviously have to follow the futures market. So, in front of us, we have the NASDAQ 100 CFD. We saw obviously yesterday was a pretty flattish day, but we have opened with the gap up. Okay, that gap has been closed. So now we will assume the direction of the gap. So we'll be trading, looking at long positions. 14,800 will be my initial target. My target, my main target, but initially 14,600 will be something to to be looking at because we are in extreme overbought scenario. So a pullback, a retracement can be contemplated anytime. So profit taken, okay, could also be happening. So it's going to be choppy trading. So be careful. Uh, as well as in the S&P, in the S&P 500, though, we have already that gap being closed. So will this continue to move to the downside? If it does, 4,200 will be our target. RSI, however, is not in the overbought scenario area, so we could just basically contemplate that the gap has been closed. Now we're going to go with the direction of the gap, which is up. So being long also on there. Now it's a different story for the Dow. The Dow has been more of a downtrend scenario. So it has opened with a gap down, and that gap has partially been closed. Okay, so we could continue contemplating the move to the downside. 32,000 will be our initial target. Then we have a strong gap down on crude oil. So, sell off in crude oil could happen. $68 will be our support. $72 is our resistance. But we could also contemplate that it could stay here around 70, just pivoting, idling, ranging, side trading, consolidation. So in crude oil, the gap is down, so market, the contemplation will be that the trend will be down. So initially, you could also just wait and see if this gap will be closed, okay, or will it continue to move just down. So you have two options, three options. Then we have Nat Gas that is also has been trading lower since it made that high of 260-ish. So we are also gap down. So, going with the direction of the gap will be the best bet. Then we have gold that has traded gap up. So we will wait for to see if they will actually close this gap. Okay. And then come and find more buyers around the 1950 and then have another leg to the upside. Then we have silver. $23 will be our support. It has opened with a small gap down, hasn't been closed. So let's see what happens. And then we have copper. Copper has been just trying to recuperate itself. 370 is our resistance. It did open with a gap down. So let's see if the continuation of this downward pressure will continue. So be careful. Bitcoin, however, has traded with a gap up and up with a gap up. 27,000 is a support. 28.5 is a resistance. Let's see if 28,000 will hold as resistance. Then we have here the euro currencies. 107 is the bottom. It made got like a double bottom here, and it has opened with a gap up. Let's see if that gap will be closed so that we can continue with the gap up, as well as the pound. The pound open with a gap up. Let's see if that will close, but that will happen if the dollar index continues or it opened with a gap down. Initially, this gap basically has been closed now. Let's see if it will continue to push lower now or will come into the body yesterday around 104 is the resistance level for it. So around 104, around right here, Let's see if it continues to move higher. Let's see if it hits 104 and then finds resistance and then just trades lower. So then we have the currency higher, metals higher, crude oil higher. Okay, then most likely also the current the index is higher. All right, that's it for me today. Have a great trading day, and I'll see you tomorrow.